Welcome back to another video, guys. And breaking news: Jamahal Hill has vacated the light heavyweight belt. I'm pretty shocked, to be honest. Really didn't expect that to happen. This guy's pretty young. I'm kind of surprised he got injured, but I guess when you train, that is the reality. And honestly, that light heavyweight belt, it is cursed. It's got that John Jones Las Vegas curse on it, because I'm telling you, anyone that gets his belt, bad things happen to them. Glover got destroyed by Yuri. Then Yuri got the belt. He got injured. And then now Hill's got it, and he's just been injured. The only thing that, the only guy that escaped the curse was Jan Blachowicz, because he didn't really have any horrific loss or horrific injury. He just lost fair and square to Glover. But anyway, Jamahal Hill's lost the belt. Well, he's vacated voluntarily. I guess the thought process behind that was, if Yuri did it, I kind of have to do it. I feel obliged. I presume he definitely isn't going to be fighting anytime soon. We're probably not going to see him for another year now. So that is a shame for Jamahal Hill. Personally, I didn't really think he was very good anyway. But having said that, no one in light heavyweight is very good. But I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. So, if Jamahal sees this, I hope you recover. I'm wishing you the best. But let's look on from that now. So what happens now? That is the real question, right? What happens now? I've seen a few people saying, oh, well, it's simple. Just put Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira for the belt. And Dana White would probably quite like that, I'm going to be honest, because it means that he can have two title fights, and I'm saying title with quotations because, let's be honest, the BMF belt is not a title in any single way. It is a piece of shit, and it should never be in the sport. But it's there now, and he's probably thinking, oh, well, I could have made this title fight, but these guys have not been training for 5 rounds. So yeah, we'll see about that. We do know that Pereira can go 5 rounds though, so I wouldn't be too worried, and my pick would still be Pereira to win by second round KO. So I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think the UFC are going to do that, even though it's probably quite a good money move for Dana White. I think UFC 291 is going to sell anyway, and it's just going to overcomplicate things. And this is what I think they're going to do instead, okay? So I don't know if you'll remember the fighter, seeing as he hasn't fought in about a year, or maybe like 3/4 of a year. His name is Ankalaev, Magomed Ankalaev, and he kind of won his last fight. He drew it, but he kind of looked better against Blachowicz. So he's in the wing somewhere waiting, and I think the winner of whoever wins Pereira versus Blachowicz is going to fight Ankalaev for the belt. That will be the next fight. They'll probably make that in about 4 or 5 months. They'll have a pretty quick turnaround. Obviously, that suits Pereira as long as he doesn't take too much damage. He's getting up there. He ain't too old at the moment, but he's getting up there. Blachowicz definitely wants to make as much money as possible now. He's 40. He really doesn't have long left if he wins the fight. And that is the fight I think they'll do. I think, so obviously, if everything goes going to plan in 2 weeks' time at UFC 291, they will make that fight after. I think Dana White will announce that after the fight, and he'll be like, that's the fight to make. Ankalaev, he looked phenomenal in that last fight. So Pereira will be down for that. It just means more money for him, and he can get a chance to become double champ. Quite a tough matchup for him though. Obviously a very wrestling heavy person, and he has little to no wrestling experience. So that is going to be a tough one for him. I don't know if I'll be picking him in that, but I do think Pereira is going to get past Blachowicz, so I do think he'll be the one challenging for the belt, and that's what I think the UFC are going to do. I don't think they're going to make this into a title shot. If they do, I'm going to be surprised, but it's not a bad thing necessarily. It'll make the card even better. Pereira will be loving it, because that means he basically gets 2 title shots. He loses, then gets a title shot in a different division, which is some Conor McGregor kind of stuff right there. So that'll be impressive. I don't think it will happen though. I'm really, really, really thinking that Dana White ain't going to do that, because first of all, it's going to be difficult to make this fight 5 rounds when both of them have only been training for 3 rounds, and it's a bit harsh to say do 5 rounds like a week and a half, 2 weeks before the fight. So yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, then my prediction would be Alex Pereira to eventually fight Magomed Ankalaev for the belt. I'm not really going to pick Alex, I don't think. Unless Alex looks really good in the clinch and defending Jan's takedowns. I just feel like Ankalaev might be able to he'd probably be able to get taken on Pereira, and he'd probably just be able to ground and pound him, because Pereira, you know, when you're getting taken down by Izzy, it's not a good look, is it? You know, Izzy isn't a good wrestler, let's be honest. He isn't a good wrestler. Ankalaev is a good wrestler, so you know, Pereira better be whipping out that magical brown belt in jiu-jitsu he has, because he better be throwing triangles up like Paul Craig did if he's going to try and beat Ankalaev on the ground. But yeah, not a very good matchup for him. He's probably hoping they do something else, but you know, he just knows that if he wins this, not this weekend, at UFC 291, he's in a very good position, and he's probably going to be challenging for the belt, because at the end of the day, money talks, and Pereira is money. He's the biggest draw in light heavyweight as far as I'm aware. Him and Yuri are probably the biggest draws. There is a small possibility that they actually, if Pereira wins, they literally say to Ankalaev, you don't sell pay-per-views, you're boring and no one wants to see you, you're not getting a title shot, and they give it to Pereira versus Yuri, which honestly would be the best outcome, let's be honest, right? Who doesn't want to see Alex Pereira versus Yuri? It'll be a fight for the ages, I'm sure. Super fun fight. That would be an awesome fight, and it would obviously it would end in a finish, and it would be a complete stand-up fight, I'm sure. So that would be a great fight. Hopefully that happens. I feel like they're going to give it to Ankalaev, though, because we don't know if Yuri's fit yet. I'm not too sure what his condition is at the moment. But for now, Jamahal Hill is no longer champion. He was very emotional. I only watched some of the video, but he was obviously very upset, understandably so. You know, he's just kind of had to forcefully give his belt up, which must suck, because obviously he put a lot of hard work into it. But he's young. I think he's 31 or 32, so there's no doubt in my mind that he will be back in a year or so, and he'll be back. He'll be in the top 5. They'll give him a top 5 opponent. A torn Achilles. Now, I don't know how bad of an injury that is for the UFC. You don't really hear of too many torn Achilles, so it's hard to gauge. You know, I'm not a medical expert. I'm not going to say this is the end of his career. I just don't know. So my best guess, though, is that because it's his Achilles, it probably is going to restrict his movement in some way, shape, or form, and people are going to probably try and kick his legs off in his next fight. So Alex Pereira, if he's fighting Jamahal Hill in the future, he will be fighting him, and he will be kicking his legs and stomping on his feet like crazy. So there is that. But yeah, so that is the situation at light heavyweight. That division is a mess. It always has been. John Jones leaving that division was basically a disaster. Why did he do that? Why? What a disaster light heavyweight is now. That division is terrible. I was going to say it's almost as bad as middleweight, but I completely take that back. Light heavyweight is worse than middleweight, okay? Middleweight has 2 really good fighters. Well, middleweight's champion is really good, let's be honest. Adesanya on the feet is really good. Pereira is really good, okay? He's one of the best strikers of all time, okay? Dricus du Plessis has looked really good in his last fight against Whittaker. We know that Whittaker is really good as well. So I'm kind of thinking that now middleweight is better than light heavyweight. So there you go. Light heavyweight is the new worst division in the UFC. The belt is cursed. That's also what we learned now. And the UFC is in a bit of a problem here. But they've got a good opportunity to make a few bucks off this. You know, it isn't a complete disaster, because if they play their cards right, I'm sure they can get some good matchups out of this, and they probably want Alex Pereira winning the belt or Yuri winning the belt, because that is what's best for business. My guess right now is honestly Pereira is probably a bigger star, because a lot of casual MMA fans know him because of that Adesanya storyline. So yeah, I'd want Pereira to win the belt. He's one of my favourite fighters, and yeah, he's just so good, and I'd probably pick him to knock out Yuri at this point in time. But anyway, that is the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe so you don't miss any future content if you haven't already. And of course, I've now got a membership program. So if you want to join that, there'll be exclusive videos that normal access members can't get. So join that so you don't miss any of them. There's loads of funny ones. There'll be in-depth ones. There'll be a bit of everything on there. Just stuff that bonus content, basically. You know, it's never going to be my daily uploads on there. I'll always still upload like normal on this. But join that if you want, and you'll get a cool thing next to your name too. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.